Okay, so today we're going to go over trigonometry. Okay, this is very important for whatever class you're going to take next year, pre-calc topics, college. Okay, very common in real life too. Okay, we use trigonometry in lots of different professions. Okay, for trigonometry, you need a right triangle. Okay, remember that your hypotenuse is the side opposite the 90-degree angle. Okay, and these are your two legs. Pythagorean theorem, again, I know you guys know this. It's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so you could take any two sides, square them to find your third side after you take the square root. Okay, so if you have the hypotenuse in a leg, you would subtract them. If you have two of the legs, then you would add after you square them and then take the square root. So something that you've heard before, I'm sure, is SOHCAHTOA. Okay. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So if I look at this symbol right here, that's called theta. Okay, that's the angle I'm looking for. The side opposite theta is A, and then the hypotenuse is C because C is the longest side. It's the side opposite hypotenuse. So SOH. Now cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So again, if we look at theta here, your adjacent side is B, and your hypotenuse does not change, it's C. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent, TOA. So if I'm looking at theta, opposite side is A, adjacent side is B. SOHCAHTOA. It's just an easy way to remember what goes where. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Now these are just the reciprocals. Okay, so cosecant would be hypotenuse over opposite. Secant would be hypotenuse over adjacent. Cotangent would be adjacent over opposite. I'll show you that on the next slide. Okay, before I show you some examples, I just want you to make note of this slide. There's lots of word problems with trigonometry you're going to see in SAT and things like that. So just make sure you know where the angle of elevation is, angle of depression. Okay, what I'd like you to do is pause this and just make notes of where things go, because on a word problem it might say, where is the angle of elevation? Okay, so you would see that it's right here. Angle of depression would be right here. Okay, and it's got some things labeled. It's a really important slide for you. Okay, now let's go back to an example of trigonometry. So if I were to change these numbers to 6, 8, and 10, the sine of theta would be opposite, so that's 6 over 10. Okay. Cosine would be the adjacent side, which is 8 over 10. And then the tangent would be opposite over adjacent, so that's 6 over 8. It's an ugly 6. Now the other ones, cosecant, secant, and cotangent, would just be the reciprocals. Okay, and we would use these to find the angle measure. So if this were 35 degrees, we'd be able to find that from the fraction. I recommend watching this a couple times. Have a good day.